As the sun dipped below the horizon in the Viking Age, a profound transformation occurred. The vibrant, bustling world of farming, trade, and seafaring gave way to a realm dominated by shadows and the subtle glow of firelight. Without our modern conveniences of electricity, the night was a powerful, enveloping presence. For the Vikings, nightfall wasn't just a signal to rest. It was a shift in their entire way of life, demanding a different kind of resilience and communal reliance. Their homes, primarily the longhouse, became microcosms of warmth and security against the vast, cold, and often dangerous unknown outside. This wasn't merely a place to sleep, but a living, breathing entity that sheltered families, livestock, and the very essence of their community during the long, dark hours. Before the true darkness set in, the evening hours were dedicated to a series of crucial tasks. These weren't mere chores, but essential preparations for survival. Animals, if not already housed, would be brought into designated sections of the longhouse, especially during colder months, to protect them from predators and the elements, and to benefit from their body heat. Tools used throughout the day, axes, scythes, fishing gear, would be cleaned, repaired, and carefully stored, ready for the next dawn. Firewood, gathered meticulously, would be stacked close to the hearth, ensuring a steady supply for warmth and light through the night. Every action was deliberate, a testament to a life deeply intertwined with the rhythms of nature and the constant need for preparedness. At the very heart of the longhouse, both literally and figuratively, was the hearth. This wasn't just a place for cooking. It was the lifeblood of the home after dark. The flickering flames provided the primary source of light, casting dancing shadows that transformed the familiar space into a realm of mystery and comfort. More importantly, it was the sole source of warmth, radiating heat that kept the cold at bay, especially during the brutal Scandinavian winters. Around this central fire, families would gather, sharing stories, mending clothes, or simply sitting in companionable silence. The hearth was a constant, a symbol of protection and community. Its crackling fire a soothing lullaby against the vast silence of the night. While the hearth provided the main light, other, more localized sources were also employed, though they were far from abundant. Simple lamps, often made from hollowed-out stone or clay vessels filled with animal fat, and a wick made of moss or linen, offered a dim, localized glow. Torches, fashioned from resinous wood, might be used for brief tasks or for moving between areas, but their smoky emissions and rapid consumption made them impractical for prolonged indoor use. The reality was that most of the longhouse, especially the areas furthest from the hearth, remained in deep shadow. This forced a different way of experiencing the world. where touch and sound became as important as sight, and where the human eye had to adapt to extremely low light conditions, a stark contrast to our brightly lit modern environments. Sleeping arrangements in a Viking longhouse were a testament to their communal way of life. Privacy, as we know it, was virtually non-existent. Along the walls, raised wooden platforms or benches served as beds, often filled with straw or moss for insulation, and covered with animal furs, sheepskin, reindeer, or bear hides for warmth and comfort. Entire families would sleep together on these benches, sharing body heat, which was crucial during the cold nights. The concept of a private bedroom was centuries away. Instead, the longhouse fostered a deep sense of togetherness, where the sounds and movements of every inhabitant were a constant presence. This communal slumber was not just a practical solution to staying warm, but a fundamental aspect of their social fabric, reinforcing bonds and mutual reliance. The longhouse was a multi-generational dwelling, a living tapestry of family and community. Grandparents, parents, children, and sometimes even distant relatives or thralls all shared the same space. This meant that the nights were filled with a symphony of human sounds, the gentle breathing of sleepers, the occasional cry of a baby quickly soothed, the soft murmurs of conversation in the fading light. There was a constant awareness of one another, a deep, unspoken understanding that permeated the very air. This closeness fostered strong family bonds and a collective sense of security. In a world with few external safeguards, the presence of your kin, their warmth, and their familiar sounds provided a profound comfort against the perceived dangers of the outside night. Beyond the human sounds within the longhouse, the night was alive with the orchestra of nature. The wind often whistled through cracks in the timber or around the smoke hole, creating eerie melodies. Outside, the hoot of an owl, the distant howl of a wolf, or the rustling of unseen creatures in the nearby forest were common accompaniments to sleep. Inside, the subtle creaks and groans of the timber structure, settling in the cold, added to the atmospheric soundscape. These sounds, while sometimes unsettling, were also a natural part of their existence, connecting them deeply to the wilderness that surrounded them. They learned to distinguish between harmless natural sounds and those that might signal danger, a vital skill for survival in an untamed world. The evening meal, often the last substantial one of the day, was a simple but hearty affair. It typically consisted of what was available: stew made from preserved meats or fish, root vegetables, perhaps some bread or porridge. Meals were eaten communally around the hearth, fostering conversation and reinforcing social bonds. After the meal, any remaining food would be carefully stored. Preservation methods were vital. Salting, smoking, or drying were common, ensuring provisions lasted through the long winters. Food was precious, and wastage was not an option. Vessels would be cleaned, and the hearth might be banked with ashes to keep embers glowing until morning. A practical way to conserve valuable fuel and make rekindling easier. In an age without books or electric entertainment, storytelling was the ultimate form of nighttime diversion. As the fire glowed, elders or skilled storytellers would recite sagas of gods and heroes, tales of epic voyages, battles, and legendary deeds. Riddles were exchanged, testing wit and knowledge. These oral traditions were not just entertainment. They were the primary means of passing down history, cultural values, and moral lessons from one generation to the next. Children would listen intently, their imaginations ignited by the spoken word, creating vivid pictures in the dim light. The shared experience of storytelling strengthened community bonds and provided a vital connection to their past, making the long, dark hours feel less daunting. Despite the warmth and security of the longhouse, the Viking night was not entirely without apprehension. The threat of raids from rival clans or even opportunities